You're about to experience a heart attack. Welcome to Crowdfunding Comics' craziest new pitch show.
This is Byron O'Neal, Media Editor for Book Yeti, and we're back for another episode of your mom's favorite rapid-fire crowdfunding comics YouTube show, Heart Attack, which that's a mouthful. My guest is this time is Jeff Schiller, who is funding his new drug-dealing dwarves urban fantasy series, Magic Powder, now on Kickstarter. Thanks for joining me tonight, Jeff.
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, to refresh everyone or the newbies, Jeff is going to get 5 minutes on the clock to answer a series of questions designed to help you understand the basics of his project and hopefully entice you to go back it. You ready, man?
Let's do it.
All right, let me get the clock up here. And let's go. Give me your elevator pitch for Magic Powder.
All right, so Magic Powder is basically Lord of the Rings meets The Wire, the way I like to say it to people who don't know that it's really Dungeons and Dragons meets Gamora. So yeah, it's basically, fantasy meets crime. The Godfather meets, Game of Thrones, that kind of thing,
Yeah. Well, this is funding issue 3. Catch us up real quick on what's happened in the first 2 issues and tease us where we're headed with this issue.
Okay, in the first 2 issues, the elf Ja, who comes from a city called Jatir, he came over to Thez, which is the city where Magic Powder is legal, the only city in the world. And he basically started a war with all the gangs, and they don't even know he's there because he's the only person in that town who even knows how to use Magic Powder for magical purposes. So he's using sorcery against a bunch of people who've got guns and things like that. And then in the 3rd issue right now, the entire city is in turmoil. Everything's up in the air. Nobody knows who to trust anymore. And it's all because of this elf. So we're going to figure out who can kind of, wade through the war and get their shit together before it's too late.
Well, tell me a little bit about Thez. That's the city that is the primary landscape in the story. What's the background with that?
Thez, originally in the story world, it was originally like a city where elves came from. It was like the capital of their country. And then eventually, they took over the entire world with the use of fairy dust, Magic Powder itself, by using sorcery and stuff like that, because they're the first race or species to actually come up with the idea or like actually figure out how to use fairy dust in that way. Like there's another, so in Thez, what happens is basically the elves took over the world. They found another place they liked better and they moved. And so now Thez is basically where people go, because it was once a great land, so they want to visit it. And it's basically become a place, it's a place where no elves live. There's no elf laws. There's a lot of project building, stuff like that, because it's not exactly a well-funded area either. Only people that run it are the actual drug cartels and stuff like that. There is a government and stuff like that, but it's all run by the cartels and everything. So it's all behind the scenes, shadow puppetry and stuff.
So what does the Magic Powder or the fairy dust actually do?
It depends. It depends how you use it and stuff like that. Like if you don't know sorcery, you can, inhale it. You can, inject it. You can smoke it. There's a million different things, and they all have different, effects. So eventually I'll be showing that in the story wise. But originally it was basically just to heighten everything. So it's like almost kind of like what cocaine did for Lawrence Taylor in the football NFL. I don't know if everyone's familiar.
Oh, yeah. I know LT.
Yeah. So it basically made him the greatest football player of all time. So it's like that kind of thing. So when they were in war with dragons and, other dwarves and even orcs and stuff like that, they had that extra edge and stuff like that without even the actual magical elements, which they figured out as well. So then it was over.
What made you want to put dwarves in charge?
The Dwarf Father, it was a good name, I guess. But like, the dwarves aren't in charge. It's actually, I guess technically the Dwarf Father is in charge. But in his mind, it's supposed to be like a shared thing. Everybody shares the town, that kind of thing. But yeah, he is at the top of the food chain. But really, there's a goblin called Miss Arana, and she's a main character. And she's one of the she's probably the second most powerful person in the city. But with the way things are going right now, with the power grabs and stuff like that, she actually might be the one end up running everything. So you'll have to find out how that goes.
Okay. So where'd the idea for the Hitman Minotaur come from?
A couple different things. I was playing a game called Hades, and you keep fighting this Minotaur as you go through it, which is awesome. It's based on like a Greek mythology and stuff like that. And then also it's based on Leon the Professional. I don't know if everyone's seen that movie. So yeah, it's a mix between those two things. And then a little bit of El Mariachi, even thrown in like Desperado, if you guys haven't seen that. Rob Rodriguez. And then as far as I just want another kind of creature and stuff like that. I don't want people to think like they know everything in the world just by seeing dwarves and orcs and gorgons and everything like that. Like I have so many things to show you guys. You guys will see.
Describe the artwork for the series.
Ooh, the artwork. All right, so I would say the cover artwork mostly by Samuel Owunzi, and he's out of Nigeria. He does crazy detailed covers that really capture the atmosphere. And it's like a darkish, you know what I mean? Like almost like horror vibes from the covers. And then the interior art is by Daniel Aquilani, who's from Italy. And I would say it's more of a cartoonish aspect, so it almost looks like it could be animated and stuff like that. So his art is perfect, and it still has that grittiness to it. And his backgrounds are amazing. Like he puts so much detail in the backgrounds and everything like that. But yeah, the art is really the best part of the whole thing. I think that's the only reason like people really love it. And I got lucky that I have great artists to work with. So
yeah, it's pretty gorgeous. What's been the most difficult aspect of combining the worlds of a drug cartel and meshing those with fantasy, right?
I would say the hardest part is coming up with like interesting action scenes that haven't been done already. But at the same time, that's why I picked fantasy, because it opens it up more than just doing gunfights.
All right. Boom. See, it goes pretty quick, doesn't it?
Yeah, it flew by.
Yeah, absolutely. Where can people go to
doing a 5-minute comedy set? I'll tell you that.
So that's your background, comedy?
I wanted to do stand-up when I was younger, and then I just kind of, I'm not really a driver and stuff because I have seizures and stuff like that. So it was really kind of hard to get to shows, and it just never really caught up with me. But yeah, I would, Mitch Hedberg and stuff like that. I really loved comedy, Colin Quinn and stuff like that. But man, I never got very far.
Where can people go to back it?
Right now, you go to Kickstarter. We're on there. You go to twitter.com @Jeff Schiller. The link is there as well. Yeah, you just type Magic Powder into Google. You might find getmagicpowder.com, which will also take you to the Kickstarter, or you can just get the old issues if you don't want to wait for the Kickstarter. That's up to you guys.
Okay, yeah, I was going to say, can people catch up on the first couple of issues, both digitally, and are there going to be physical copies available as well?
Yeah, on the Kickstarter, there's all kinds of catch-up packages. You can get every single thing I've ever made, including the coloring book, which we also did. So yeah, just get on that. Stickers. We're going to do the Fez Report physical this time. So there'll be like a lore book. Instead of a variant cover, I wanted to give people more story so they can get 2, comics, basically.
Cool. Well, I've been a backer for all 3 issues so far myself. They're super fun. I can't say I've seen this twist applied to the fantasy genre before. So, get in on something unique and go back Magic Powder. Jeff, thanks for joining me today.
Hey, thanks for having me. It was really fun, and thank you for backing every time. Thanks for all the hype. I know you tried to get me on another show, my last campaign, and I blew it. So thank you for getting me back out here, and I'm glad you didn't get mad at me about that.
No. It's all good. Like, I deal with my own physical health issue stuff, man, and everybody's got a life. Not a problem at all.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Even this I almost missed because I went bowling for the first time in like 4 months. And it was like, oh, man, I'm glad I didn't fuck it up again.
It's all good. Well, I know a couple of friends who've already interviewed you. So Cody and Lauren, to name a few. I'll make sure to add those links in the show notes. So if people really enjoyed this, they can get a much longer, interview with you, learn a little bit about your background, influences as a writer, all that kind of thing. So make sure to check those out. This is Byron O'Neal on behalf of all of us at Comic Book Yeti. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for tuning in today to the Comic Book Yeti YouTube channel and this episode of Heart Attack. Make sure to rate, review, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.